We know the nature of a habit is a trigger, a behavior, and a reward. Every habit has a trigger, a behavior, and a reward. So you have to learn how to deactivate your old habits and create new ones. And then you've got to learn how to focus on the outcome that you want versus your current reality. Let's do a little check-in. And I want to know, where are you playing the game right now? And we're talking specifically, right, about training your brain to make more money in these chaotic times. Are you right now, because of what's happening in the world, in a state of survival? Are you in a state of stability where it's okay? Are you achieving more success or a great level of success right now? You know, or is it just flowing into you right now? Where are you right now? So one of the things I learned many years ago is you first have to be 100% honest with where you are so that you can point in the direction that you want to get to and then start moving towards there. How many of you are ready right now to get from wherever you are, whatever if you're in survival to at least stability, if you're in stability to success, and if you're in success to abundance, more than enough, right? Abundance is more than enough. Anybody want an abundance over the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, right? So Hussein, thank you for being honest. Abundance, abundance, the abundance is there. I want to ask you a question. Are there people that you know of right now that are in a state of abundance? Are there people that they have more than enough right now? Right? There's some people that have more than enough right now. The question is, why not you? And I'll answer that question, why it may not be you, and I'll also show you how to get there. So here's something that it's sad, actually. 78% of the US population is living paycheck to paycheck. Is that you? I don't know. It's not a fun place to live, you know, paycheck to paycheck, you know, being worried about how you're going to make ends meet, right? Less than 25% of the population is putting money into savings on a regular basis. 75% of the populations are in debt and don't believe they'll ever get out. Do you fit into any one of these three? And then 32%, less than 32% of the US population has a household budget. Now, I don't know where you are in the world, but my hallucination is, you know, if you're in a survival state or even in a stable state, some of these things, you know, is what you're experiencing. And what I want to have you understand is that there's a way out. And what do you think the key to having a different result in 3, 6, 9 months are? Do you think it might have something to do with what's happening in between your two ears, right? I always have my little plastic brain here. Some people think this is my actual brain. I'm gonna take it out. Do you think this is the most powerful organism in the whole universe? So just curious, 5 million years of evolution. Do you think this brain, not the plastic one, yours and mine and everybody else's, do you think that your brain has the ability, okay, to help you navigate out of stability to success or success to significance or abundance? Of course it can. Let's understand something. How many of you were in business or around business in the last recession, you know, 12 years ago or so? All right, 12, 13 years ago. Do you know that all of these companies were started or created in the last recession? And the people that either worked for them or the people that invested in them made a fortune? So is it true that in any downturn of a market, okay, any recession, any pandemic, any occurrence that happens in the world, there are people and companies that thrive instead of just survive? Is that a fact? All right, so just do me a favor, answer. Is that a fact, yes or no? All right, so, you know, these are rhetorical questions. I get that. What about like right now? Okay, out of nowhere, okay, the 5th richest guy in the world now is the founder and CEO of Zoom. Did any of you invest in Zoom 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 months ago, a year ago, right? Went through the roof. What about Amazon, where they positioned beautifully, okay, to be able to be the deliverer of stuff to, you know, our homes for people who invested in Amazon for the Amazon employees. What about Apple stock? What about Tesla stock? All right. What about those people? There are people making a fortune right now. And listen, I get that luck can help you, okay? I love to be lucky. I'm sure you do as well. But it's also a function of knowing what to look for in a down market. Would you agree that if you don't know what you don't know, or your brain hinders you, then that is a problem, right? So what we want to do is upgrade our mindset, our skill set, and our action set. Do you agree that mindset, skill set, and action set applied is the ticket out, okay, to success? How do most people earn money? Let's see if you can give me a list with me. Let's talk about money. We're going to transition out of companies, but let's talk about money and you right now. How do most people earn money? So you can have a job, you can have a business, you can license, right? You can have investments, right, that make money. You can do affiliate marketing. You don't have to even have a product. You can sell other people's products, okay, and make money, right? You can be a freelancer where you sell your services. Even if you have a job, you can sell your services, right? Right, so website selling e-products, right? You can be a coach, you can be a consultant. The question I want to ask you is, are there more than enough ways to make money, either in what you're already doing or in something else? Are there more than enough ways to make money right now? Are there people that are making money in a job right now, or owning their business and growing their business, or in investing in the stock market or real estate or whatever the case is? Of course. So the problem is not that there isn't money, right? So what is money really, right? So what is money really? All right. So a lot of people that I ask, what is money? Money is paper. Well, what about gold? Money, whether it is coins, gold, paper, it doesn't make a difference. Money is a means of exchange. There was a time in the history of our species we didn't have money. We didn't have coins. We didn't have paper, right? But when tribes started to move further apart from each other, all right, and one tribe was fishing and another tribe was picking berries, the tribe that picked berries traded, okay, berries for fish, or berries for, for meat, or berries or some kind of food or tool for something else. So money in the earliest forms was a means of exchange. And then there was a value system created. If 5 of these is worth 1 of those, and then 1 of those is only worth half of these, and half of these is only worth, 10 of those. So we started to create this monetary system to exchange products, services, right, between people. So I want to ask you, people, governments, countries, et cetera. So what outside factors determine how much you earn? I'm going to lay out a foundation for you, okay, in order to get into the inner game of all of this. So what outside factors, what factors out there, okay, can determine how much you earn? Let me ask you a question. All right, let's say you have a product or service, whether it's your time, your knowledge, your skill, a product or service, okay? Doesn't the market determine if there's a need in the marketplace for your product or service, right? So is it possible that your product or service, knowledge or skill, the market doesn't need, right? But if you have something that the market needs, okay, then it's saleable, right? What about the skills you have? All right, what about the skills you have? If you have skills, whether it's for a job, whether it's investing or growing a business, if you have these skills, can you make money, right? So the outside skill, or the skills that you have, okay, the marketplace places a value on your skills, does it not? What about the quality of what you have to offer? All right, so what about the quality of what you have to offer? If you're good, but somebody else is better, if your product is okay, but somebody else's is way better, doesn't quality make a difference? Doesn't quality make a difference, all right, in what the market will pay for it? So if you have a diamond that's 1 carat, VS1, H color versus, VVS1, clear, it's going to be worth more. One may be worth 10,000 a carat, the other may be worth $1 million a carat. So quality makes a difference. then what if you have a product, a skill, or knowledge, or services? Isn't your ability to market and sell what you have also a critical piece to it? If you have the best recipe in the world, but you don't know how to get it out to people, how much money are you going to make if you don't know how to do that? So in the law of compensation, it's always around the need in the marketplace for what you have. How good is your product or service compared to other people? How good is your skill, okay, and the quality and your ability to market and sell it? So if you don't have the right skills to invest in whether it's real estate, the stock market, or invest in your own business, and you don't understand what to do in this type of a market, what do you think the chances are going to be that you do well, okay, in chaotic, uncertain times? So knowledge and skill does matter, especially in uncertain, chaotic times. Would you agree with that? Right? So I'm going to take you to the emotional side of this, but also the logical side of this. So the absence of skill may be costing you a fortune right now, because most people, okay, in chaotic times, uncertain times, they don't know what to do. So we're going to change some of that for you today. So how does your brain help you or hinder you from achieving your financial goals? I'm going to give you a quick, rapid lesson, all right, in understanding the hierarchy of your brain. So how many of you know this already? Your number one priority of your brain, 5 million years of evolution, okay, of a brain. 108 billion humans have walked on Earth, okay? Our brain developed in 3 different stages, reptilian, mammalian, and then neocortex, the logical part of our brain, right? So survival and safety is what your brain is focusing on first. So what do you think is happening right now, okay, when there's threat, chaos, uncertainty, and unpredictability, okay? What do you think your brain is doing, okay, when there's so much uncertainty and you may be in a stuck state or a survival state? You think your brain's motivational centers are going to be active, seeking out how to make more money, working overtime. Yeah, your brain's trying to conserve energy while it's trying to keep you safe, okay, and making sure you don't die and making sure that you don't get hurt. So it's just trying to keep up. It's doing everything possible based on the way your brain's hierarchy of circuits operate to avoid pain or discomfort. So if there's any risk out there, what do you think is happening in here and in here and in there? Okay? It does these 3 things before it focuses on gaining pleasure. So survival and safety first, right? So let me show you something. Behind me, you're going to see my famous Einstein friend and my famous Frankenstein friend. I'm going to be talking about these 2 parts of your brain, your left prefrontal cortex, right prefrontal cortex. When there is a threat of you getting sick or dying or losing your job or business failure, or losing money in real estate or the stock market, or not having enough money in retirement, leaving your family with nothing or losing some of what you have, what do you think your brain is doing? If there is a threat, are any of you feeling any of these threats right now? And if you're not feeling any of these threats, what threat do you feel right now? Right? So what threat do you have right now that maybe affecting you, right? So Susan, thank you for being honest. There's a possibility, right? Losing your job, money, yeah, losing money in the stock market. The market's been going up. Everybody thinks it's a bubble is about to burst as well, getting sick. Absolutely, the threat is real for a lot of people right now. And it looks like it's going to be real for the next year, right? So the well-being of your family, absolutely. No jobs, well-being of your family, all of the above. Yeah, listen, you're not alone, okay? So I feel you and you're not alone. I speak to people all over the world every single day. So you're absolutely not alone. When the threat is real, our brain's on overdrive, and that threat is what creates the anxiety or stress and activates the fear center. Now, here is a model I'm going to show you, right? When this stress center is activated, the inner Frankenstein part of your brain, that right prefrontal cortex, as we call it, is focusing consistently on what if negative. How many of you know what I'm talking about? What if I lose my job? What if I don't have enough money? What if this lasts longer than I can? What if my business goes down? What if I lose my, assets or part of my assets? That part of our brain, okay, is on hyper overdrive right now, which does not help us take motivated action consistently, right? So when our Frankenstein brain is activated, how many of you are feeling a little bit more anxious than usual, that there's current running of anxiety? And how many of you are feeling a little bit more stressed than usual? How many of you are feeling a fear? Fear of the unknown, fear of not having enough, fear of being in scarcity, fear of losing what you've got, fear of falling behind, fear of not having enough for the retirement, fear of not being able to live the lifestyle that you want to live, right? So this is just real stuff, okay? It's not me making this stuff up. This is very, very stressful for a lot of people. How many of you feel a little bit out of control? A little bit or a lot out of control, right? Like, be real. Like, I know what this is like, all right? How many of you are constantly focusing on the negative because of what you're hearing or watching on TV, whether it's the political situation, whether it's the pandemic, whether it's the recession, whether it's real, are you feeling, a little bit? How many of you are hesitating, not knowing what to do, right? How many of you feel uncertain? Do you feel uncertain at all, right? How many of you are stuck? Are you stuck? Are you frozen, not knowing what to do or afraid of making decisions just because it might be the wrong decision? Are you considering like waiting and seeing? You're just waiting and seeing. A couple of months ago, about 100 days ago, I was doing a program, a live training with hundreds of people that invested into this program called 100 Days to Financial Success. And I'll share a little bit about that with you later. But there's a gal, Megan Bearder, in the class. And in one of the live sessions that we were doing, she's a photographer. Megan was really anxious. She was asking me a question. She said, listen, it's been about 90 days since I've made any money as a photographer. And I have a little bit of money left, but I'm getting really scared because every week my money is going down further and further and further and further, and I'm not making a lot of money. And I said to her, I said, Megan, why do you think you're not making a lot of money? She goes, well, there's, my business is basically shut down. She's a woman who has a photography, a business. She takes photographs of weddings, people's celebrations, etc. So I said to her, I said, Megan, how many people have you called in the last 2-3 months? And she goes, what do you mean, how many people have I called? I said, well, how many of your past customers did you call to see if they need, to capture any special occasion, even in these crazy times? She goes, I haven't called anybody. I said, well, of course you're not going to have any money. You're frozen in fear. I said, I want you to do me a favor and commit to something. And she says, what, John? I said, I want you to take out your list of all of your past clients. And I want you to get on the phone. You don't email them. Get on the phone and call them and say, hey, this is Megan. And I just want to know how you're doing. And do you have any needs for any photography, even in these crazy times? And guess what happened within 24 hours? She was operating for 3 months in a state of fear. She froze and was waiting and seeing. Within 24 hours, she got $2,500 of business just because she stopped telling herself this story around why she couldn't make money, what people were thinking and feeling and doing. She had this story going on in her head, and she was in a state of fear. And in the state of fear, she was frozen and just using up all of her money. Self-sabotage. You are correct, Hamilton, right? And guess what? She's doing so much better now because now she's taking inspired action. All right, so when we are in this state of fear, when Frankenstein brain is activated, we procrastinate, we lose motivation, we sabotage our efforts, we come up with stories and excuses, and we come up with reasons why we can't or don't want to. Does this sound like anyone that I'm talking to right now? Is this happening to you possibly? Okay, so these are effects, right? When activating the Frankenstein brain, or when the Frankenstein brain is activated, That's what leads to this stuff. But what I want to show you how to do is stop the procrastinating, get motivated again, right? And stop the stories and excuses that are holding you hostage and come up with reasons why you can instead of reasons why you don't. Would that be helpful to you? Because I'm going to show you how to deactivate Frankenstein and deactivate Frankenstein and start training your brain to get Einstein going. There's a part of your brain called the left prefrontal cortex, which is one of the most highly evolved parts of your brain. That is your imagination. That is your ability to take inspired action. It's the executive director, the CEO of your life and your brain. But if you're allowing Frankenstein to run your brain and your life, you are going to fall into a state of depression, depressing yourself and your capabilities. So when you activate Einstein, it is actually keeping you calm so that you can respond to real or imagined threat instead of reacting automatically based on how your brain works for safety and avoidance of pain. Does that make sense? You have these two cortexes in your brain that are connected to your nervous system. Your sympathetic nervous system is the part of your nervous system that causes you to fight, freeze, or run away. The calm and respond part of your brain activates the motivational center of your brain, which allows you to think through the problems, the issues, and the opportunities, and helps you take inspired action instead of staying stuck. Which would you prefer? Which do you prefer? If you have the most powerful biocomputer in your head, called your brain, wouldn't it make sense to get unstuck and take your foot off the gas and gently put your foot on the gas and take inspired action? If we've already established there are companies making billions and millions and hundreds of millions, there are people making millions and hundreds of thousands and tens of thousands and thousands, which part of the brain do you think they're using? The one that is in fear or the one that's in flow? Which one? Which one? You want to be able to be in flow, right? When you're in flow, things are effortless. When you're in flow, there's stress less, not effortless, not stressless, effortless, stress less. So you want to be in flow. And when you're in flow, you're going to be using that logical side of your brain and the imagination side of your brain instead of the fear side of your brain that creates even more uncertainty and actually increases the amygdala, the size of the amygdala, the emotional response center in your brain. So what we want to do is activate Einstein, which will help give you more confidence, give you more certainty, give you courage to step outside of your comfort zone right now and out of fear into flow, give you a perception shift of how you can versus why you can't. Start using that logical part of your brain where you feel empowered, and then you take inspired action. Would it be worthwhile for me to show you how to do this? Because I'm telling you what to do, but now I'm going to show you how to do it. Would that be worthwhile? Let me know, and I'm just going to wait to see. If you're asking me to do it, I will do it. So there's a couple of things that you want to do. There's a 4R process that is a skill that you learn and you need to practice. Now, I just want a commitment from you to me. If I teach you how to do it, will you at least practice a little bit each day so you get the benefit? It makes no sense, all right, to learn something and not apply it. And I guarantee you this will work. Not kind of, sort of, maybe, I guarantee it. Okay, so if you practice. So what is the 4R process? Everything I teach you is based on the neuroscience of success. No airy-fairy bullshit or metaphysical woo-woo stuff. No, neuroscience, neuropsychology of success. I don't mind metaphysical stuff, but I like the real stuff too. All right, so you want to add metaphysical stuff, do that, but let's get into the science. So number one, you have to recognize and be aware. Now, recognize and be aware of what? Well, you have to recognize the thoughts, emotions, feelings, sensations, and behaviors that you are taking or not taking every single hour. Not every day, every hour. Thoughts, emotions, feelings, sensations, and behaviors. Would you agree that procrastination is a behavior? Not taking action, is that a behavior? Yes or yes? So why do you want to be aware of your thoughts, emotions, feelings, sensations, and behaviors? Well, the reason you want to be aware of those is you want to quickly discover, are you operating from the Frankenstein brain or the Einstein brain? Are you stuck in thoughts and emotions and feelings and behaviors that are constructive or destructive, empowering you or disempowering you, positive or negative, moving you towards your goals and dreams or keeping you stuck and away from them? Do you think it would be valuable to be more aware? And is it possible that the more you train yourself to be more aware of the automatic thoughts, emotions, feelings, sensations, and behaviors, then you could actually use one of your higher functioning parts of your brain, and that's choice to change? Is it true that you and I are conditioned? Is it true that we have thoughts, 50,000 thoughts a day, most of which are the same as the ones from yesterday and last week and the week before and the week before that? Is it true that we repeat patterns? Is it true that there's a part of you called your automatic self that becomes part of you through repetition, and then you are creatures of habit? So do you think that if maybe, okay, you took your cell phone and every day, okay, you started, okay, and you created some times during the day for your cell phone to go off just so you can do this? I'm going to show you 2 exercises. Exercise for your body, exercise for your brain. Are you ready for 2 easy ones? First, exercise. If you set your alarm clock, okay, to 55 minutes past the hour, or your computer to just ring a bell or having a little alarm go off, and all you did was stop, and you took 6 deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth, like you're blowing out through a straw. Slowly, slowly, slowly. That's just one. One more. Now, why am I going to start you off with what I call is take 6, calm the circuits first? Earlier, I mentioned to you, you have a nervous system broken up into 2 systems, sympathetic and parasystem, calm to respond or stress to react. We want to deactivate the stress, fear, anxiety center, sympathetic. We want to activate the parasympathetic, the calm and respond, which gets Albert Einstein brain back online, where imagination works, logic works, rationality works. We can come up with solutions to the feeling. So the first exercise is take 6, calm the circuit. Second exercise, not third, is called AYA, A-I-A. AYA is around awareness of thoughts, emotions, feelings, sensations, behaviors. Thoughts, emotions, feelings, sensations, behaviors. Write it down. What am I thinking right now? What am I feeling right now? What have I been doing for the last hour? If you teach your brain to be aware of your thoughts, emotions, feelings, sensations, behavior without, pay close attention, without judgment, blame, shame, guilt, or justification. I know that was fast. I'll repeat. Without judgment, blame, shame, guilt, or justification. Pure awareness. Why do you want to be aware of the last 55 minutes? Because it'll show you your patterns. We have thought patterns, emotional patterns that give rise to feelings automatically, and that drives our behavior. Would you agree that how you feel determines whether you take action or not? If you feel stressed, you're going to hold back. If you feel calm and you know what to do, you're going to move forward. So what we want to do is do take 6, calm the circuit first. Then we're going to do AYA in a calm, relaxed state. Thank you, Saikal, for the answer. So we're going to be aware. And then after we're aware, what's one intention that you have, or what's your intention for the next hour? To be productive, to be calm, to take inspired action, to learn what I need to do and then take action. You set one intention per hour And then you take one action towards that right away. You don't wait. You don't think about it. You don't talk to anybody about it. It's awareness, intention, action. Let me ask you a question. If you just did that, you got calm, you were aware, you set an intention, and you took inspired action, 1 per hour. How many of you would be more successful and make more money if you were focusing on a money-making activity? If you just did that 8 times during the day, would you become more financially successful? Would your business grow? Could you learn how to invest? Could you start something? Could you sell your services? Would you be more successful if you operated in this calm, relaxed, focused, attentive state? So the 4R process is recognize and be aware first. And then if you discovered, okay, if you discovered a disempowering thought, like a limiting belief, a disempowering emotion, I'm scared, I'm stressed, I'm anxiety, you know, I'm worried about this. If you learned how to reframe a thought, emotion, feeling, sensation, or behavior so that it didn't disempower you anymore, would that be beneficial? So how do you reframe something? How do you reframe, for example, a limiting belief that you might have? Anybody know? Anybody know? So let's say you have, let's say you realize that I have this limiting belief, or let's say you have this fear of taking action. How could you reframe what it means to take action? Well, you can use leverage. So let's say you want to take inspired action towards something, but you're afraid you might fail. You're afraid you might be disappointed, or you might disappoint somebody else. So does a language pattern that you choose cause neurochemicals to fire off in your brain? And do those neurochemicals cause you to take action or not? Of course they do, but you can't do that. You can't shift and modify unless you're aware first. And then if you can learn to reframe the disempowering or negative thoughts, emotions, and even behaviors into empowering ones, you are starting, okay, to do something which you'll see is the 4th R. And then if you're releasing the old and bringing in the new, you acknowledge it and let it go. You acknowledge it and let it go. Because when you're looking at an old pattern, or you're feeling an old emotion, or you're aware of a behavior that disempowers you, and you let that go, and you start a new one, are you now being deliberate? Are you now retraining your brain to change? This 4R process, I could teach it for the next 100 years, it would still work. So can you retrain your brain using positive affirmations or declarations? Can you inner size, do mental and emotional techniques to be empowered versus disempowered? Can you use visualization or mental contrasting to experience and see what's holding you back and see yourself overcoming that? If your brain can be aware of an obstacle and you can visualize overcoming that obstacle, whether it's a fear, whether it's a limiting belief, whether it's self-esteem or self-image issue that's holding you back, do you believe that by learning how to visualize and contrast one old frame to a new one, you can actually activate the motivational center in your brain and deactivate the Frankenstein fear center in your brain? Do you think that's a possibility? I think you know what I'm doing here, right? Of course it is. So the 4R process is something that is supremely useful if you do it every day. It doesn't help if you do it once a week. It's like exercising once a week and hoping to get in great shape. It doesn't matter, you know, if you exercise for 5 hours one day. If you don't take consistent inspired action, you're not going to develop the habitual pattern required to change something called the default mode network, or the automatic self in your brain. There's a part of your brain called the striatum, which is where your habits reside. And what you want to do is create a new habit that causes you to think and feel and behave constructively versus destructively. Does that make sense? Like I said, I'm going to share with you the neuroscience and neuropsychology of this so you can do it, and then that becomes the way you always are. Think about this. If somebody's a millionaire or a multimillionaire and they lose all of their money, do you think that most of them gain it back if they have enough time? Right? Do you think if, and do you think if somebody, wins the lottery and then loses all of their money, what do you think the chances of somebody who loses the lottery becomes a millionaire again on their own? What do you think the chances of, if you're a millionaire, what percentage of millionaires lose all the money, will make it back, and what percentage of people who win the lottery will make millions again? Very, very unlikely if you didn't learn the patterns, right? The patterns of beliefs, the patterns around self-image, the skills required, and the behaviors required, right? Earlier we established you need to have the mindset, the skill set, and the action set right. If you don't know how to change your mindset, if you don't know how to have the right skill set, if you don't know what behaviors to take, you're going to stay in a stuck state. You're going to stay in a state of security instead of state of success or significance and abundance. So let's go into the inner game, right? What other inner factors determine how much money you earn, right? What other factors? So we've come up with a couple of them, but what other factors, what other inner game factors determine your health? Is it possible that your beliefs and habits and self-image and your money story and the financial set point that you have in your brain determine how much money you earn, regardless of the economy, right? So I want to ask you a question. What are beliefs? What are habits? What is self-image? What is a money story? What is a money set point or financial set point? Like, what is it as it relates to here, right? So why is it important to have empowering beliefs versus limiting beliefs? Do beliefs drive behavior? Yes or yes? So beliefs drive behavior. Were you born with any beliefs? Were you born with any beliefs? No, not one, right? You were born with 100 billion neurons, all right, or brain cells that are like marbles, right? And those marbles made connections, right, called neural pathways. And the neural pathways that became reinforced became habitual neurodes, right, like highway systems in your brain. And the ones that got reinforced became automatic, and that those automatic ones become part of your subconscious mind or conscious mind. Which one? Right? Subconscious mind, right? And so, do you know that your money story is one of the greatest stories you've ever had, based on the family you were born into, based on where you lived, based on what people said about money, how much you can afford, how much you can spend, how much you can earn. This job earns that. That business can earn that. This is how much you tip. This is the kind of airline tickets you buy or hotel that you buy. This is the kind of shoes, clothes, watches, skirts, dresses, suits. We all have a money story, right? Do our beliefs and habits shape our self-image? Do our beliefs, habits, and self-image shape our money story? And then does our money story shape and reinforce our beliefs, habits, and self-image? And is it true that if, let's say, you're used to making 25,000 a year or 50 or 100 or 5 million, is it true that if that is what the setting is in your brain, that if you make more than that, you'll sabotage it, and if you make less than that, you'll bust your ass to get to that set point like a thermostat? Is it possible? And we're going to go back to Maxwell Maltz's great works called Psycho-Cybernetic. Is it possible that there are settings in your brain that determine how much you earn, and anything above or below that causes you to either take inspired action or sabotage your success? Is it possible? Yes or yes? Is it how it works? So the integration of your beliefs, habits, self-image, money story, and set points matters in this game, doesn't it? If your beliefs right now are that it's hard to make money in uncertain, chaotic times, what do you think is going to happen, okay, to your behavior? If your self-image is one that doesn't take inspired action when times are uncertain, if your money story is that it's really hard to make money in these challenging times, what do you think you're going to do? if your financial set point is at a certain level, but you don't know how to break free and either earn that again right now because there are some challenging times right now, what do you think is going to happen? Are you going to take inspired action? No. Right? Right? So does our conditioning matter? So how did you develop your beliefs, your money story, your habits, your financial set point? And the answer is it's a result of your conditioning, right? So I don't know how old you are. I'm 59. I don't know how old you are. But did your parents have an effect on your beliefs, right? Did your teachers, the television, books, friends, experiences, your job, did all of these things have a factor in developing your conditioning, right? Well, of course it did. Now, what do you know about the conscious versus subconscious mind? Right? Where's the power center? The 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years of conditioning or your goals and dreams, right? We know that the power is in your subconscious mind, right? We know that. And so if the power is in your subconscious mind, and all of you know that, it runs 95 to 98% of your perceptions, your behaviors, your expectations. And so your conscious mind, the part of you that's saying, I want to make more money now, I want to increase my wealth right now, that's the part of your mind that chooses goals, has an imagination of what that's like, is part of your desire part of your brain, is part of how you feel, if you achieve those goals. But it's only responsible for 5% of what you'll actually do right now around money. And what you did last year and the year before and the year before that, and what you will do in the next year or two. The subconscious mind is the power center, which is instinctive and intuitive, but it's where your habits and your beliefs reside. It's part of a part of your brain called the striatum, okay, which is part of the brain that just runs automatically without thought. And it's what actually activates your emotions, and it is lightning fast. So it's happening without you even thinking about it. And it controls 95% plus of your life. And so what happens when your financial goals are not in alignment with your subconscious condition? Can anybody give me a couple of ideas? Anybody give me, when your financial goals, your conscious goals are not in alignment with your subconscious, all right, what do you think happens? Frustrations, never fulfilled, cognitive dissonance, yes, you get stuck, your goals lose, you don't take action, you get depressed, you don't follow through, frustrations, dissonance, upset, lose confidence, don't do anything. You're all right. So let's say you have an income goal of $150,000 to $250,000, but your subconscious self-image feels you're only worth $75,000. What do you think you will do? Will you take inspired action towards that? Or will you take inspired action maybe for a day or two or three and then revert back to all your old behaviors? Subconscious wins, you sabotage. That's exactly right. What if you want to travel and stay in 5-star hotels, okay? But you have this limiting beliefs that you can't afford it. If that's the money story that you have, you can't afford it. What happens? In Hamilton, you're right. The limiting beliefs take over, but your subconscious is like your thermostat. Subconscious wins again. Let's say you want to have a dream home and life. How many of you want to have a dream home and a dream life? You know, that you're proud of, that you feel inspired every single day, that gives to yourself, your family, and everybody else, but you feel you don't deserve it because of whatever limiting belief or self-image issue that you have, right? What do you think will happen when there is a subconscious and conscious disconnect or chaos, right? What if you say to yourself, I need to change my habits, but underneath the surface, your hidden self-image is my habits are easy for me, so you want to stay in your comfort zone. Somebody write this down. Most human beings will prefer to master disappointment versus mastering the change that's required to achieve their goals and dreams. Most people will master disappointment versus mastering the change required to achieve their goals and dreams, right? So we have to learn how to become better at habits. What if you're conscious? You want to give to charities, but you say, I don't have enough yet. Here's what happens. Neural dissonance and chaos happen, and that means that that Einstein part of your brain that part of your brain that you need to activate, that I showed you a little bit of how to activate before, decreases, blood flow, okay, goes away from your left prefrontal cortex and to the fear centers of your brain and the Frankenstein centers of your brain. And so what you want to do is stop doing this again. All right? And so how do you get your whole brain to work in coherence, right? By the way, I'd like to know, how much would you love to earn in the next 12 months? Can you give me a number? I'd love to see where we are. 130K in the next 12 months, 10 million in the next 12 months, right? Great, so we got a lot of people with some very, very big goals. Awesome, I love that. In the next 12 months. So if you could earn that amount of money, would it change your lifestyle? Would it give you some freedom, some choice freedom, emotional freedom? Would it give you a chance to pay off some debt, right? Yeah, awesome. So 200,000, awesome, awesome, awesome. Great, so how do you get your whole brain aligned? First and foremost, you have to reset your financial thermostat, right? You have to get the goal part of your brain with the subconscious brain aligned. So number one, I'm going to give you a few tips right now. So pay close attention. The first thing you want to do is you want to set a financial goal. Yes, we want to use our conscious brain to set a financial goal. So that way we're going to activate that left prefrontal cortex because that's the deductive, reasoning, logical, and imagination parts of our brain. How many of you can set the goal? Because a lot of you did right now. All right. So how many of you can tell me why must you achieve the goal that you just put into the chat? Why must you achieve? Because now I want to activate a different part of your brain called the limbic system, all right, which is the emotional side of your brain. The why gives you fuel, all right, and if your why is bigger than your stories and reasons and excuses and limiting beliefs, you will take action. If your stories, reasons, excuses, and limiting beliefs are bigger than your why, you will succumb to remaining the same. So security, financial freedom, but why? Why do you want financial freedom? You need to have a very strong emotional reason, not just security. Right now, you already know that it's for security, but why must you have security? All right. Why is it important for you, Cheryl, to retire in comfort? Okay. Why is it important for you, Sam, to move forward? It's not a big enough reason why. You have to come up with a big enough reason why, or you will not do it. You want to play a little game with me? I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you the power of a big why. Okay. How many of you are willing to play a little game with me full out? All right. So taking care of your parents, why is that important? Okay, so I want you to imagine this. Can you type in the chat right now the name of one person you love? I mean, you love this person. It could be a child, a mother, father, sister, brother, or best friend. Can you type it in? Type it in right now. Rebecca, Isabel, your child. What's the name of your child? Abida, Elsa, mother, children. Type in the name. Give me a name, give me a name, give me a name, give me a name. Okay, okay. I want you to imagine this. Okay, type in. Come on, everybody play. Play. Remember I asked you to play full out? You play full out, you get more out. All right, so here we go. I want you to imagine how much you love this person. Can you go there? Can you just go there? I'm thinking of two people, my two sons, Keenan and Noah. Okay, so I'm thinking Keenan and Noah. Oh, I love them so much. Oh my God. Imagine this. Imagine this. If you don't achieve the goal that you typed in just about a minute or two ago, okay, the 100,000, 200,000, a million, whatever, if you don't achieve it, 12 months from now, you will never see them again. How many of you are going to let go of your limiting beliefs? How many of you will take inspired action? How many of you will upgrade your knowledge, upgrade your skills, ask for help, do whatever the F it takes to achieve that goal? Okay? Oh, so all of a sudden, you do whatever it takes, right? So now we have a big enough why. If your goal, okay, doesn't stir up the emotional reasons why you must, you will not. Stop fooling yourself. Stop playing games with yourself. You need to have leverage because you have factors that are holding you back. You've got these limiting beliefs and self-esteem issues. I'm not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy. I don't have the skills. The market's bad. I don't know what's happening. I'm stuck. I'm frozen. Stop it. All right. I'm just going to tell you straight out, stop it. If you are serious, okay, you can break free and you can achieve that financial goal and the lifestyle that comes with it. If you are just interested and you want to do what's easy and convenient, okay, you're not going to do it. You just won't do it. So stop either having the goal of the dream or get serious and get off your ass and do the right things that are going to help you use your genius brain better so that you can actually achieve that money, which will give you that lifestyle, the emotional freedom, the time freedom, less stress, more choices, which is really what you want. Okay? So psychology, it's not easy. You know, if it was easy, everybody would do it. Stop making excuses for yourself. All I've seen is excuses from you is why you can't in there. So stop it. You just have to stop it and cut off from any other option. Okay? So then once you have your goal and your big why, what must you believe? Everybody that's in here right now, I want you to give me one thing that you must believe. Because if you didn't have a belief before when you were born and you develop beliefs, don't you think it's possible to take a belief and instill it into your brain and create a pattern and reinforce it? Of course it is. It's a neural network, a pattern. I'll teach you how to create a pattern in just a moment, but you give me what it is. I can do it. I deserve it. Now, how many times do you wake up and you say that to yourself? I believe I could do it. You look in the mirror every day and go, I believe I could do it. I could achieve every one of my goals and dreams no matter what, right? Right? Excuses are like holes, Mark, right? They all sink and stink, right? So all things are possible for me, whoever said that, right? I can accomplish anything I choose my mind to accomplish, and I'm committed to achieving, right? I have all the resources right now, Kim, to do this. I am resourceful in the absence of resources. So can I take a belief and can I, like a Hollywood actor, actress reads a script and learns a brand new script that he or she doesn't know, and through practice, spaced repetition and practice, visualizing, practicing it, recording it on their mobile phone, listening to it and feeling it, is it not true that if you don't have the right belief now, then your old beliefs that are limiting you are going to get reinforced? And if you don't deliberately create new beliefs and reinforce those, your old beliefs will keep driving your life? Come on, play with me here. We're talking about your biocomputer, all right? I'll show you how in just a moment, all right? So first you set the goal, the why, you create the beliefs that you need, and then you have to move about changing your habits. It takes between 66 days and 365 days to develop or change an old pattern or habit that's stuck in your brain that runs automatically to conserve energy. If you think you can change a habit in 3 days, 6 days, 10 days, 20 days, good luck. Teach me how to do it, because you can't. It just will not work. So here's my goal for you. Write this down. I'm committed to 100 days of change, not 21, not 16, not 60. I'm committed to at least 100 days of change so that I change the habits from the ones I have, the thought, emotional, and behavioral habits, to the new ones that empower me versus the ones that are keeping me stuck and disempower me. If we are creatures of habit, doesn't it make sense that you have to become really good at changing the habits you have because they're automatically running your life? And if you don't do it, you're pretty much just wasting your time, right? And then we want to reset our financial set point because our brain is keeping us stuck thinking and feeling in ways that match our set point. And then we have to create a how for our brain to follow. So the how is, what is the goal? Okay. When are you going to achieve it by? What are the strategies you're going to apply to do it? What are the tactics you're going to use? So strategy and tactics go hand in hand. What are the timelines of when you're going to get it done by? Because our brain likes time-bound goals. Okay. Whose help do you need? If you can give me your plan and you can develop the habits and the beliefs and recalibrate your set points, do you think that it's possible for you to achieve your goals and dreams? Do you agree that you have to change in order for your results to change? Of course it is. You know, I work with hundreds of thousands of people around the world. with thousands of clients at any given time in our programs. And this is the stuff that we're working on every day, every week, every month, every quarter, every year, and they're achieving amazing results. So what we want to do is we want to take these conscious goals and the vision and the new beliefs and the new affirmations that we have, and we want to take them from the conscious part of our brain into the subconscious part of our brain. And we can actually see blood flow changes into our brain when we do this. So we can see more coherence instead of more chaos. So somebody asked me how before. So I'm going to show you a variety of different ways to do this. Now, you can do this obviously on your own and spend the time, money, and research to do it, and that's great. So you can write out some affirmations and start reading them every single day and start visualizing them every day and start creating the emotions while you're doing that every single day as you're in a meditative state, a calm, relaxed state, which is an alpha brainwave frequency, or theta or delta, which is more of the deeper brainwave states that allow you to integrate a new vision, new goals, new affirmations, new beliefs, a new self-image. If you know how to use some brain stimulation technology, there's some different technologies to use in a whole bunch of our programs. We use a variety of isochronic brainwave frequency changers. We use binaural beats. We use a variety of those. You learn some cognitive dissonance reduction, all right? And so you learn some techniques like the 4R process, okay? Like the flip-flop exercise that we teach in Inner Size. You could do mental contrasting, which means that you can see where you are now, and then you see yourself for the next 100 days, every day for 2 or 3 or 4 minutes, okay? You see yourself achieving the goals. You see yourself with a new self-image. You imagine first in your mind, you feel it in your heart, and then you integrate it with taking inspired action. Remember, take 6 calmness circuits first, then Aya. After you do that, then you could do some of these techniques, whether it's affirmations, declarations, creating a new money story, which means you write out a new money story, right? And then you read it, you feel it, you see it, you visualize it, and then you take inspired action that day, that hour, every single day, all right? And then you learn some habit modification techniques, all right? We know the nature of a habit is a trigger, a behavior, and a reward. Every habit has a trigger, a behavior, and a reward. So you have to learn how to deactivate your old habits and create new ones. And then you've got to learn how to focus on the outcome that you want versus your current reality. This just takes time, right? Focus is a muscle. Focusing is a muscle. Emotions are triggered in your subconscious mind in order to do what? Keep you safe, conserve energy, avoid pain, and then gain pleasure. So we have 6 core emotions. If you're operating from a state of fear, if you're operating from a disempowered emotional state, Frankenstein brain is running the show, and you want to get more into the Einstein brain. So these are just, a few tools that you can learn how to use in order to achieve your goals and dreams faster and easier than ever before, right? So has this been helpful to you? There is a science to doing this. There is a science for your mindset. There's a way to upgrade your skill set and a way for you to change your action set. So the key is not learning this today. Now you have awareness. Big deal. Awareness doesn't really change unless you change your behavior over a period of time. Hey, this is John, and if you liked that video, watch the next video because it is packed with things that you can do right now to achieve success way faster than ever before.